Another member of Congress who's been outspoken in the VA scandal is Representative Adam Kinzinger, who is a major in the Air Force Reserve and served in Iraq and Afghanistan. Congressman, thank you for joining us.
It's great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Your sense of where this VA scandal is and where it's going, and what is your reaction to the announcement just made over the weekend that veterans who can't get care can seek it from non-VA facilities?
Well, look, everything I hear from this administration, from politicians talking about it, and I'm acutely aware of the fact that I'm also a politician, is talking about in-depth studies and see what results are, and we need to figure out what's going on here and look at this and look at that. Meanwhile, while we're waiting for the results of studies, you have veterans that are waiting for care from the Veterans Administration. Look, General Shinseki has been there for 6 years. He has not been able to get his grip on this. The president's press conference sounded exactly like what he talked about in 2007. It is really time for a shakeup and for some real issues. Now, in terms of what was done this weekend and what was announced, in terms of veterans being able to go to private doctors and hospitals, I think it's great. We've been calling on this for a very long time. I introduced a bill similar to this about a year ago, so I'm going to celebrate this move by the VA, but I'm also going to say what took so long. This is not a new issue in terms of the backlog, and it's not a new issue in terms of the fact that there were now secret waiting lists created, which is a whole nother level of incompetency to the level of criminality.
When you say level of criminality, is that something you are certain of or suspicious about?
Well, I'm not a lawyer, and I'm kind of proud of that. But, at the same time, if you have somebody that created a fake waiting list in order to make their numbers look better, more interested in protecting their bonuses and their job than in protecting those that have protected us, frankly, I think that is criminal negligence. And so, for me, I think it's gone from incompetence. When we were talking about a year or a 2-year backlog, that was incompetence, that was bureaucracy, that was something that we had to take a real strong approach on. But when it came to people have created fake waiting lists and veterans have died, I think that goes to the level of criminality. And that's where, as the prior senator was saying, the Department of Justice needs to get involved in this. The president has got to show some intense outrage. And while I think General Shinseki needs to go, he's a great American, but I don't think he's fit for this. I haven't even seen the level of outrage out of him that I think we ought to be hearing to know that there were fake waiting lists created to pad numbers.
Congressman, before I let you go, the president often says it doesn't do any good to fire somebody in a moment of crisis. It's just the typical Washington scapegoating. What's your reaction to that, and why do you think getting rid of Shinseki now would make the situation materially better than it is?
Well, to an extent, I agree with the president. In fact, a year ago, I had conversations with colleagues about calling for his resignation, and I don't want to jump on the resignation bandwagon. Where it changed is when I heard that there were, in fact, secret waiting lists. And look, the reality is, it's been 6 years. He hasn't been able to tackle this. We've got to have answers now. He's a great guy, but I think maybe bring somebody like a hospital administrator in. Just because the general's been in the military doesn't mean he knows how to run the largest hospital organization in the country. So I think it's time for a major shakeup at the VA, like happened after 2007 and after those reports that you're going to talk about later. I think it's time for a major change, and it starts at the top.
Congressman Adam Kinzinger from Chicago, thank you very much. We appreciate your time this Sunday. We'll have a lot more on the issues facing our nation's veterans in our second half hour, and we'll be back in a moment.